Welcome to Emotions and Stories. Karan and his disasters have found yet another interesting episode. So let's begin our new episode of Karan and his disasters, the drone drama. When Karan got a drone for his birthday, he was ecstatic. He imagined capturing breathtaking aerial shots, soaring over the neighborhood, and impressing his friends with his expert piloting skills. Reality was far less glamorous. For his first flight, he chose the backyard. He carefully positioned the drone, adjusted his grip on the remote, and took a deep breath. "This is it," he whispered, "the beginning of my pilot legacy." He pressed the takeoff button, and the drone lifted gracefully into the air for exactly 3 seconds. Then, with all the precision of a malfunctioning frisbee, it veered hard to the left and crashed straight into the biggest tree in the yard. "Oh, come on," Karan groaned, running towards the tree. He tried shaking the branches, throwing sticks at it, and even attempted climbing the trunk, which ended with him flat on his back. Eventually, he resorted to the time honored technique of flailing wildly at the tree with a broom. Miraculously, the drone tumbled down and Karan caught it mid-air. Okay, that was a warm up. Time for the real flight. He reset the drone and repositioned himself. Took a deep breath. This time he had a plan. The drone lifted off again, this time more stable. Karan was thrilled. He maneuvered it gently, taking it higher and higher, watching as it glided smoothly over the backyard fence, straight through his neighbor's open window. There was a loud crash followed by a very loud, very angry shout. Karan's heart stopped. He frantically gripped the remote and tried to steer the drone back. But instead of escaping, it zipped madly around the neighbor's living room. He could hear objects being knocked over, the sound of glass shattering, and then the unmistakable sound of the cat shrieking. "Oh no, oh no, oh no," Karan muttered, frantically trying to jam the buttons. The drone finally zoomed back out of the window, but not before knocking over a table lamp on its way out. His neighbor, red faced and furious, appeared at the window, shaking his fist. "Karan!" "Sorry, technical difficulties," Karan shouted before sprinting inside the house. Thinking it was best to take a break, he decided to wait until evening for another test flight. By then, surely his bad luck would have run out. But it hadn't. After dinner, under the glow of streetlights, Karan launched the drone once more. This time it actually soared smoothly. It climbed higher and higher, gliding beautifully above the rooftops. Karun beamed, finally. And then the wind picked up. Suddenly, the drone lurched sideways and shot towards his house like a rogue missile. Karan's stomach dropped as he watched in horror. He frantically tried to steer it away, but it was too late. Crash! The drone slammed straight into his mother's clothesline, wrapping itself in his family's laundry like a trapped bird. The propellers tangled in a bedsheet, the motors choked on a pair of socks, and within seconds, the entire contraption plummeted straight down into the neighbor's koi pond. Splash! And then silence. Karan tiptoed towards the pond, peering in. The drone, now completely soaked, wobbled sadly on the surface, tangled in a pair of his dad's socks. Just then, his neighbor stormed out with a flashlight. Again? He bellowed. Would you believe if I said it was a science experiment? Karan stammered. His neighbor glared at him before stomping back inside. Karan fished the drone out, dripping wet and covered in pond scum. The next morning, Karan devised a master plan to retrieve his beloved drone. He placed it under the sun, then he tried using a hair dryer. He even Googled, can drones survive water damage? The answer he got was not likely. Still determined, replaced the batteries and pressed the power button. Amazing! The drone came to life. Yes, Karan woofed. It's alive. It took off again, straight into chaos. The drone jerked forward, then backwards, then spun in circles like a possessed blender. Before Karan could regain control, it shot into the house, knocking over his mom's flower vase, zooming through the kitchen and narrowly missing his dad's head. Then, as if fate had written a perfect comedy script, the drone veered towards his mom's bucket of water and executed a graceful nosedive right into it. Splash! Karan stared at the now lifeless, soaked drone sinking like a Titanic. His dad, sipping his coffee and unfazed by the disaster, shook his head. Maybe next year we'll get you a remote controlled car instead? Karan sighed, staring at the floating wreckage of his drone. Maybe flying wasn't his thing, but maybe rockets? He was sure he could make one of those. Well, spoiler alert for Karan, he definitely couldn't. I hope you enjoyed today's story, and let's wait for Karan and his next disaster. Thank you.